Good morning, Twitch.tv. Good morning to YouTube as well. No. And of course, good morning, Mini Motorways. Let's go to Wellington for today's daily challenge. Oh, God. I sound even worse than I feel, which is amazing. We get half road tiles. Some destinations are always circles. They still haven't put in my air conditioner. So here's the story of a lovely lady. That would make life easier, but no. Here's the story of an underscore Goog who was bringing up three very lovely girls. All of them had hair of gold, like their mother. The youngest one in curls. It's also the story of a man named Brady. Yes, I can continue the bit. Who was busy with three boys of his own. They were four men living all together, yet they were all alone. Okay, stop. They were all of them deceived? Sounds like we're just doing a bit for Make Some Noise, by the way. Quick tangent. Game Changer premiered last night. Season 8, Episode 1 on Dropout. It felt like a B- episode of Game Changer, which, listen, Game Changer is a wonderful television show, so a middle-of-the-road episode of Game Changer is well worth your time. But it was fine. It was good. It was whatever. They had a guy I know from YouTube videos on it. It was fun. Let's take a roundabout. We're going to put this yellow up here to this, going over here. These reds will serve that. Okay, fine. All right. You know what? Hold on. This and this is looking a little stupid. What if we well, no, this is actually the best way to do this. I was going to redraw this such that the yellows wound up going through here, but there's no real good way to do that, so fuck it. You go up and over and around like so. You connect there. Okay. Oh, God. So, as you may recall, it is warm. Last fall, hold on, I have to cough. For the first time since I moved into this apartment complex, the management company, which is a new management company, so this is probably just in keeping with that new management company's policy. For the first time since I moved into my apartment, the new management company issued a requirement that everyone who has a window air conditioner remove the air conditioner from the window for the winter, which is reasonable because, you know, if you got a bunch of snow and ice in your window and your air conditioner falls and it breaks and hurts people, that's a problem. That's dangerous. That could present not only a danger issue for the people, but more importantly to the company, a liability issue to the company. So they make the people take the air conditioners out of the window. Fine, okay, whatever. Then the entire winter happened, and then it was spring. And then what I should have done was in like March. Yes, in literal actual March. I should have reached out to someone and started the process being like, hey, I should get my air conditioner put back in my window. I don't necessarily need it now, but who knows when I will need it. It'll be fine. I should have done this in March. This is ultimately my fault. Okay? We've got the raised Catholic guilt and the general self-loathing. I'm fully aware this is my fault. Okay? I did not do this in March. I did not reach out to anyone in March. I started thinking about having it done in April when it was randomly I think there was one random 70-degree week in like in February, but other than that, I started thinking about it in earnest in like the first week of April, and I just didn't. I didn't reach out to anyone. There was a random day in April when it was in the 80s, and it would have been nice to have air conditioning. There was one Saturday I had folks over to play Magic, and it was quite warm, but I just didn't have it done, right? And a few weeks went by, and then it became May, and then it became the middle of May, getting toward late May. And finally, I started thinking about reaching out to someone and having it done. And I didn't actually reach out to anyone until like Saturday, this past Saturday, when it was very warm. And, well, would you believe it? Sometimes it takes time to arrange for the mildly skilled, like in the grand scheme of skilled labor. Here's what needs to happen, right? There's a reason that this is a little more complicated than just hurking a thing into a window and tightening some screws, right? There's like a specialized bracket involved. And you got to actually go outside on a ladder and do the thing. So it's not like I lack the physical strength to hurk the thing into the window and haven't asked any of my friends to hurk the thing into the window. If it was simply a matter of window hurking, this would be done. There's like just enough specialized labor involved here that nobody I know is just free and able to do it. You need to like pay a guy or a girl or a person. You need to pay a person who has a ladder. You're right, Sam. A matter of window hurking, title of the episode. Thank you. Thank you very much. It is not, sadly, a simple matter of window hurking. The simple matter of window hurking, also one of the lesser Sherlock Holmes novels, it must be said. Doyle was kind of coasting by that time. He was like, we don't have to come up with a title. We can just call this the matter of window hurking. And the people will wonder if window hurking is some obscure English village, which it is, by the way. Window hurking is an obscure English village. Their soccer team is okay. Oh, God. All right. I'm going to kill some of these blues just to get enough road tiles to support this going over to here. You are a dick bastard. You and your yellow and your that. We're going to wait until Monday to do anything about that, or perhaps this. Who's to say? I'd like to get maybe... okay. Well, then these two yellows can come over to here, and these two yellows can fuck off and die for all I care. Hey, look, it's Monday. We're going to take... a motorway. This whole half road tiles thing is kind of jerkishly. All right, let's... You remember the mean and awful things I said about these yellows right here? Well, I didn't mean any of them, friend. I promise. You and I are the greatest of allies, as far as you know. All right, we got dark blues here, and we got this over here. Can I just... Can we just... Okay, we can sort of just. There we go. Now we can just. Okay. Oh, no, greens. Oh, no. Oh, greens, no. Greens, why? Oh. Horrendous. Horrendous placement. Even if I do this, which I should and will do, I now have 9 road tiles to connect any greens to... Oh. I need to find one more. If I can find... Hey, look. One more. Now there's a green. There's one green right here that can get up here. Ultimately, like, you can see a path to a bridge going over here, but that's going to be like 20-some road tiles, so yeah. But, oh, fuck. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I was in the middle of a story. We'll get there. I promise. Are we going to make it to Monday in time for all of this to... Okay. All right. Give me 20 road tiles. Give me 20 road tiles. Yes, I did just pass up a motorway, but we needs it. Okay. I'm going to use most of that 20 road tiles I just got right here doing this. Okay. But, so I've connected these greens up to here to serve this, right? That means I can kill all of this road and all of this. We can run you over here. Would they have functionally saved me? I mean, I could have motorwayed this all the way over to this. I would have only had like 5 tiles, though. Like, I take the 20 road tiles, I draw this. I'm going to have more than 5 once this goes away, though. Like, once this road de-roads itself, I'm going to have more than 5 road tiles. Like, drawing this allowed me to kill this, which played into the calculus. All of this road right here is going away as soon as this green car comes down here and completes its nonsense. Like, stop it! See, that green comes down through here. Now I have 11 road tiles with which to work. Is that better than... If I had just drawn the motorway here, I guess I still would have been able to kill this. This feels like it was a decent idea, but I also feel like we're fucked. So, let's toss a roundabout right here and do that. These 2 yellow houses, double duty up to here. Y'all, I got nothing. I got absolute nothing for this business. I'm sorry. We're just going to do that for right now. Hey, look, a road tile. You point south, actually. We'll reclaim that. Now I've got 5 spare roads, which isn't enough spare roads, but... Okay. Y'all keep going. So on Saturday, I started reaching out in earnest to people to be like, hey, there's 2 air conditioners. They need Hurking, and someone has to go outside on a ladder to drill them into a thing. That's the big thing, is the ladder. The ladder and the outside and the drilling. Because I'm on the 2nd floor of my building, this gray's not going to make it until Monday, is it? Fuck. Okay, well then, I guess we'll overfuck this blue business for a minute. Because we gotta stay alive. So we'll zoop this, and we'll zoop this. And once this blue car gets... Oh no, once this blue car gets... this is gonna take a while. This business might still die, actually. Because this blue car's gotta get all the way down here. Save Lacey from her poor decision of being in the spring for 5 hours without sunscreen. That seems scary and bad. Lacey, why would you do that? Why would a person do that? I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet. Oh, God. All right. So we've got this blue right here. What do we have to do? With 14 road tiles and a dream. The dream is competent infrastructure, by the way. That's the dream. I mean, sunscreen does have really gross texture, particularly when you're sweaty. Like, it could just be that I presently am sweaty, but everything is gross when you're sweaty. Partexturally. Thank you, Sam. Yeah, we're just gonna staple these blues to this business. That's gonna be fine. This dark blue has no chance in hell unless I get it a motorway. And I can't get it a motorway, so let's steal it a motorway. There. Alright, beiges have come up here and saved this beige. This beige is saved for now. Still bad and dying, by the way. Want to make very clear, this beige is still bad and dying, but at least it's saved for the moment. These blues up over here are similarly going to be saved for the moment. And we're just kind of doing a 3 businesses, 2 motorways dance right now, wherein one of the businesses calms down so it can get overfucked. Because, behold, this business has calmed down. Great. It can now get overfucked. Because we're going to swing motorway number 2 over to here, steal this, pull that. Oh, yeah, there's a bad way. You can put light blues on this and just bulldoze them right through this road and then get through here and then use a tunnel for one single tile. Hey, by the way, there's a green here. How is How is this? Oh, this green isn't being served. Okay. Well, that explains things. Here, let's just put greens on this road. If we put greens on this road, they'll eventually go into the roundabout and then up to here, and we'll have to pretend that that's fine. But listen, I've pretended worse things. Okay. All right. So, 3 businesses, 2 motorways. We've pulled light blues over here to prevent the destruction of this business. Is that going to work? Signs point to nope, actually. Signs point to we need more dudes. So, you come up over to here. Oh my god. Okay, Sam, can you refund Lacey's 2,500 Goog bucks? Because I have never seen the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. I don't know anything about it other than it is allegedly good and possibly contains superheroes. I don't know. I've never seen it. We're taking a bridge. Okay, so now I have 15 road tiles. This business is still screwed. So we're still doing the motorway tango, I guess. We'll swing you up to here, screw over this dark blue guy. No, it does not contain superheroes. Okay, we're going to tell stories, damn it. So, Saturday, I start reaching out to people. Sam knows... What had happened, one thing that I did do is the guy who took out the air conditioners... Oh, by the way, this is bad. This is just... Y'all are getting... You two are going to be tied together in this whole business over fuckery nonsense. Okay, this beige go over to here. This goes over to here. So I had a guy who took the air conditioners out in the fall, and I texted that guy, and it turned out that that guy was in, like, Ireland or something. So I waited a few more weeks until this past Saturday when it was very hot. And then I started texting around, and I found a couple of people on Craigslist, which is where you find reasonably skilled labor that needs doing right quick. You go to Craigslist. It's a wonderful website. It offers pretty much this and exactly this, and also various scams. There's lots of scams on Craigslist, which is unfortunate, but it is, after all, the internet. So let's put more dark blues into this situation. These are going to go over here. This green, by the way, would you believe, shock of shocks, 2 houses on a very busy road is not enough to sustain a faraway circle. So we're actually doomed for different reasons. Oh, God. Okay, so I find some people on Craigslist, and one of them is like, yeah, sure, I'll be able to come on down. And then yesterday morning, we had made plans for him to come by around 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Yesterday morning, he texts me and says, actually, I got to go to Norwich. And I meant to follow this up. I don't know where Norwich is. Where the fuck is Norwich? Norwich is... It is... not horrendously far from me, actually, but it is also not me. By the way, 1,021 commuters over 61 days. Sam is putting GGs in the chat, which is terrifying. That's top 15% in the world. That's okay. All right, listen. We take our victories where we can get them, friends. Drop those GGs in the chat. Where now is my friend the Wordle? Hither comes the Wordle. Let's say the Wordle today is labor on account of my need to hire some of it. So one guy I texted from Craigslist is like, yeah, I can come by tomorrow afternoon at 2, and then tomorrow afternoon at 2 comes around, and the dude's like, actually, I got to go to Norwich. I might or might not be able to help you today. And I'm like, okay, fine, let me know. And he never let me know. So the most generous read is that he got really tied up in Norwich, couldn't make it, and will text me later today. That's entirely possible. As also not a thing that upon which I'm going to rely. So, I mentioned that I have an apartment complex and I have a management company, right? So I reached out to my management company and I was like, hey, listen, this is not a maintenance issue, but can I pay some of your people to do mercenary freelance handyman type shit? And they were like, yeah, sure, put in a maintenance request. And I put in a maintenance request at noon yesterday. And according to the online portal, a technician was assigned at 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. And I have not heard anything since. So now when I set up the maintenance request, this is even more fun. I told them,
I've come to bargain.
Lacey is bored, has come to bargain. Lacey will trade their own personal skin for me taking the pain of the sunburn. Lacey, I'm going to reject your offer, and this is why. You probably don't have enough skin for all of the gook. Like, presumably you're going to want my skin in return. You're not just saying, here is all of my skin, please take this sunburn pain. Perhaps you are proposing a skin exchange. And I don't think that would work for either of us. For one, you would be all wrapped up and cocooned in like 3 extra layers of skin, which would make you quite warm and uncomfortable, sadly. And for 2, my skin situation would be akin to trying to sleep on a king-size bed with a throw blanket all of a sudden. It would just be bad. Have you ever tried to use a throw blanket as like a blanket when you're taking a nap? It's not a good situation. It would be bad. It would be bad for both of us. I don't think it's a good idea. It's a good proposal and a wonderful use of the come to bargain reward. More people should use that. But in this instance, I'm going to have to say no. So when I set this maintenance request, by the way, the wordle today is plunk. No, there's an L in plunk. The wordle today is chunk, obviously. See, because the goog is chunk on account of the skin issue. Okay. Oh, God. I used a fitted sheet as a blanket last night. I'm one of those people who can't sleep if he doesn't have a blanket. And listen, when it is very uncomfortably warm and you are one of those people who cannot sleep without a blanket, oh, that's a bad combination of things. I used a fitted sheet as a blanket last night. It worked out just fine. Well, sort of fine. Ish. So when I set up this maintenance request, I told them that I was available yesterday afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, and Thursday afternoon, but not today. And the reason I said not today is that at the time, I was scheduled to have to go to Boston today for work. That job has since canceled. So, I now am in the awkward situation of wanting to call them and be like, hey, listen, I want to update my availability for this maintenance request. I know, Sam, of all the days where it wouldn't be the worst thing to have to be in the car for a while and then go to Boston and be in an office building. Now, listen, that would be very quite awful for my poor cat, Nora, but it's going to be very quite awful for Nora whether I'm here or not. So it would have been a fine day for me to at least be in an air-conditioned office building in Boston, but no. So now I have to call my management company and be like, hey, here's the deal. I'd like to update my availability for this request because, as it turns out, I am, in fact, available today. Pretty please send someone today. For the love of God, get someone here today. But I have to do that in a way that doesn't make me come off as like a rude, bad customer, awful, pain-in-the-ass resident type person, because heaven forbid I be perceived in a negative light in any of the requests of help that I need. Yeah, so I got that going for me. Bottom line is it's very hot. It's very hot, and it's going to be 98 degrees today. The projected high temperature that I saw when I looked at a weather forecast today is 98 degrees. Sam, I appreciate the offer. I am on call for work, so theoretically they could call me at any point and be like, hey, dude, we need you to do this thing in the next 10 minutes. And I don't really want to take apart my entire workstation, bring it to your house, and then possibly need to set it up and be there for many hours. I do appreciate the offer, but it is not a practical one. Oh God! All right, the Wordle today, and then we'll get back to the Goog Bug reward because Sam has redeemed a top 3 after all. The Wordle today is. Well, it's not going to be usual for many reasons. I tried to put an extra Y sound in there and make it usual, which, no, that's not how you say that word, Goog. Let's see. The Wordle today is, can't be gunky because there's no N and there's no K. It can't be bumpy on account of the lack of B. It could be sumpy. No. Dumpy. It could be dumpy. The Wordle today is dumpy. Man, we're just all sorts of mean to ourselves today, aren't we, Goog? Samurai Sam has redeemed the Goog's top 3, what was that, Balatro vouchers? Oh, yes, Goog's top 3 Balatro vouchers. The vouchers are those things that you get that give, like, an extra hand, an extra discard, an extra joker slot, that sort of thing. I'm going to say my tippity top 3 are antimatter, which is very minor spoilers for the video game Balatro if you care about that thing. Antimatter is the second stage voucher that begins with blank. There's blank, which does nothing, and then the second stage of that is antimatter. Antimatter gives you another joker slot. It's wonderful. Antimatter is probably my favorite voucher. I do like blank is a good gimmick. Blank is a good gimmick to kind of entice the unknowing player. I understand why blank. It could be dusty, by the way. This Wordle could be dusty. It was in fact dusty. So now it should be noted that Dusty Rhodes was the son of a plumber. So he had a good relationship with labor, and it could be said that he was a chunky man who had one heck of a dumpy. So yeah, these are all about Dusty Rhodes. Actually, we're just saying mean things about one of the better wrestlers that ever existed today. Glorious. Now then, away goes the don't tell me the answer text, because if you know the answer, by all means, tell me the fucking answer. We are in the middle of... So there's a whole bunch of ash here and a dude with a mask. My first thought is this is somewhere in the Pacific Northwest in the aftermath of the eruption of Mount St. Helens. And that would stand to reason with the Washington State highway signage here. Like this highway symbol is a profile of George Washington's... Yeah, okay, so we are like in Ephrata or George Washington in 1980, which is the year Mount St. Helens. Was it 80 or 89? It was 80 that Mount St. Helens erupted, right? Yeah, this is the aftermath of the Mount St. Helens eruption. All right. While I wait for someone to Google it and tell me, by the way, cheat, about whether Mount St. Helens erupted in 1980 or 1989, I think it was 1980. Anyway, other top 3 favorite things, vouchers. That's the word I was looking for. Telescope. Telescope is a fucking amazing voucher. The Telescope voucher makes it so that every Celestial pack, which is the little booster pack of cards that you can get, it makes it so that every one of those contains the card for your most used hand. So if you're just, playing on checkered deck and playing a bunch of flushes, every planet pack will contain a Jupiter card, which is the card that makes flushes better. So that, having the Telescope voucher allows you to really lock in on a single hand and make that hand at a base level very, 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 very good. So if you're, spamming pairs or something, that's very good. Yes, there's nothing more disappointing than when you open a Jumbo Celestial pack and don't get your Jupiter. Yeah, I paid $6 Balatro for these 5 planet cards. You're telling me you're going to give me 5 planet cards and I can only choose one, and none of them are Jupiter or none of them are Saturn? Fuck you, Balatro. Fuck you. All right, we are in the American Pacific Northwest. We're specifically looking for, States 281, Interstate 90. Okay, so 28, 281, something like that. Interstate 90 is right here. So if we just follow that for a while, we might see Ephrata or George. Hey, look, here is George, Washington. That is one hell of a name for a place. I'm a big fan of that. And hey, there's Ephrata. So you know what? I bet you we're right about here. Right about, we're somewhere near a thing. So you can get to 28, or you can get to 281 going to 90 to, okay. We are right here in Ephrata, Washington in 1980. There we go. It was 1980. Also, we were closer to George. But still, I was basically right. Good job, Goog. Well knowledged. You thought it was snow and that was a COVID mask. No, incorrect. Next, dear sweet mother of God. All right. We got us a whole bunch of horse-drawn buggies and such. And Depot de Louis Balmalal, Delja Glavel. Okay, so this could be Paris, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like New Orleans. Like, it feels like an American street, but there's French wordage, so possibly New Orleans. Samuel Azam, Asladine, Goog's terrible French accent. Ha 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 ha. The office of Pipi Mahou. Pipi Mahou. Oh no. Oh, Pipi Mahou. You have an office at 223 St. Paul Street here in possibly New Orleans. This is the penchant de gastronomiques de A.A. Wilson. Who in the fuck is A.A. Wilson? The world may never know. You can have your Quechua Pochua, Zwa Pierre du Taille. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that is painful for the throat of mine. Oh. Here we have C. Graton et C. They sell tabacs, pipes, et cigarettes. There is so much French going on here, this may actually be Paris. There is a lot of French here. An awful lot of Francais on the signage on the streets in the place of the thing. My first thought was New Orleans. My second thought is, wait a second, is this just Paris? This could just be Paris, but no. This right here says to me that this is not Paris. This Saint-Paul Street? No. If this was Paris, this would be Rue de Saint-Paul or something like that. This would not be Saint-Paul Street. Fuck that. And they sing costing between 10 and 20 cents? No. This is not cents. This is not Francais. This is New Orleans. We are in New Orleans, Louisiana, dans 19 déquité, negative déquité. This is 19 Uxising all the way to the left. Yes. We take Sising, we Uxising all the way to the left. Come to us, the Wordle Zoom, not the Wordle Zoom, the time guessing Zoom. We zoom and zoom. We place ourselves right there. We actually sing all the way to the left. We make the guess. Okay. Okay, it turns out that there are places in the world where they speak French that are not Paris or New Orleans. And among them is Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Fine. We can be in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Stupid fuckers. All right, that's quite enough of that. So we've had... This sure is one of the episodes of GMMM of all time. We've had 2 of our 3 top Balatro vouchers. Hi, Dick. I'm sorry, what is Tricky Dick doing here? All right. So he's shaking hands with a fella he's also sending off to die. That's very United States presidential of him. Okay. All right. I was hoping this would say 1964, but oh, Sam. Oh, buddy. All right. We'll get to that. We got to finish off this thing first. I mean, there are a lot of vouchers that are just like universally generically good. Like there are 2 that give you an extra hand, and there's 2 that give you extra hand size, and there are 2 that give you an extra discard. I'm gonna shout out Hieroglyph. Hieroglyph is the first of 2 vouchers that reduce your ante by 1. They essentially send you back 1 level on the progress up the chart thing. And if you first look at Hieroglyph, you're like, I'm doing okay. Lowering the score requirement would be good, but having to give up a hand to do it, oh, that feels so bad. It's actually quite good. For most Balatro, but why am I saying Wordle so often? For most Balatro builds, you're only playing 1 meaningful hand. You're only playing 1 meaningful hand most of the time. It's not impossible. It is certainly possible, particularly if you're playing for, like, I want to beat ante 8 and I don't care how I do in Endless. I'm just trying to make a build that ekes past ante 8. For those kinds of builds, having extra hands is good for being able to play multiple hands in a round and get the points you need. If you're building around flushes or straights or, 4 of a kind, 5 of a kind, flush 5, that sort of thing. If you're building around that, you're going to have 1 meaningful hand no matter what. So giving up a hand is not a big deal. And being able to have a whole other ante's worth of going through shops, setting up your deck, getting the jokers you need, it's really, really good. The second tier of that, Petroglyph, does the same thing at the cost of a discard, and if you're playing beyond Blue Stake, you only have 2 discards to begin with, so it feels real bad. It feels real bad to take Petroglyph and only have 1 discard, but it's still good, and I still take it much of the time. But so Goog's top 3 Balatro vouchers are Antimatter, Telescope, and Hieroglyph. They're all good. They're quite good. Balatro's a good video game. If you have not played Balatro, you should probably play Balatro. It's quite good. Now, this photograph right here features our dear friend Richard Milhouse Nixon, who is presently dead, but was at the time probably president of the United States. He could have been vice president. He was vice president at the time. He's our dear friend in the sense that he's pictured here, Sam. It does not actually mean he was not a fine gentleman. He was, in fact, a bit of a shitbag, by which I mean a lot of a shitbag. Richard Nixon, probably top 100 shittiest Americans to ever live? Yeah. Like, that's a long list. That's a very long list, but I think if you can limit it to people who were born in the United States at a time when the United States existed, just by doing that, you've probably pulled out, Andrew Jackson's not in that definition of the top 100 shittiest Americans who ever lived, because I believe Andrew Jackson was born not in the United States because the United States did not exist. He probably should still count as an American, given that he was the fucking president of the United States and all. But, Richard Milhouse Nixon, strong contender at the very least for top 100 shittiest Americans to ever live. Because, yes, he was the president, and yes, he was a major asshole about stuff. Born in the U.S. mainland before it was independent. That probably counts. I guess if you expand it to people who were born in the American colonies. Yeah, there were Ted Bundys of the world. There are CEOs. I'm hesitant here because, I don't know, Elon Musk doesn't count as an American for purposes of the discussion, but, Bill Gates does. Has Bill Gates done more bad in the world than Richard Nixon did? That's a question for people who are smarter than me to debate. I don't know. My inclination is to say probably, but, yeah. Anyway, point is, here's Richard Nixon. He has, at the very least, a strong case for being one of the 100 shittiest Americans to ever live. And he appears to be celebratorily shaking the hand of, again, a person he is sending to die, because he's sending this motherfucker off to go die in Vietnam, which, well, yeah. Anyway, speaking of Vietnam, where the fuck are we? Are we in? We can't possibly be in Vietnam. That would be stupid of this fucker. That fucker would never go there. But the U.S. Army sure would go on their magical mystery tour. Ooh. Oh, man. Fuck, I don't know. We are in Washington, D.C. They brought the troops to him, damn it. We are in Fort Bragg, Indiana. I don't even know if Fort Bragg is in Indiana. Fort Bragg doesn't... Actually, it's probably been renamed to Fort Bragg again. Fuck. God, I hate these people. I hate them so much. We're just going to assume he brought the troops to him. We are in Washington, D.C. in 1964. It was, in fact... Oh my God, he actually went over there. Huh. Okay. All right, fine. So this motherfucker went all the way over there. I'm not even going to say good for him, because I'm sure it was the safest place in the goddamn world. This motherfucker went all the way over there in 1969. Fine. Samurai Sam has redeemed your minor Mets news of the day. And your minor Mets news of the day is, don't look now, but the Mets have won like 6 out of 7 games or something. The Mets are playing pretty well, actually. But more specifically, last night, the Mets were in Washington, D.C. playing the Nationals. And it was a baseball game. It was back and forth. It was kind of ugly in the way 2026 New York Mets games are ugly. They got 4 decent innings from Christian Scott, but they only got 4 innings from Christian Scott. And then Austin Warren pitched a couple innings, and then a couple other guys pitched a couple innings, and they scored a run, and they fell behind, and they came back and tied the game, and then they fell behind again, and then they took the lead, and then they blew the lead because, they had a whole bunch of stuff going on Sunday. A whole bunch of guys had pitched in pressure situations on Sunday, so they didn't have everybody available last night. So it wound up with Tobias Myers pitching in, I think it was Myers. It might have been Weaver. No, it was Tobias Myers pitching to a critical batter in the 7th inning, and he wound up giving up a run, and that's unfortunate, but that's the thing that's going to happen now and then. So the game was tied, and it went into extra innings. The Mets have a 643 team OPS, worst in baseball by over 20. Yeah, the Mets don't have a very good offense. The Mets have a whole bunch of guys in their lineup who are very bad, and a whole bunch of guys in their lineup who are having very bad seasons. And the challenge for the Mets is to suss out which guys in their lineup are very bad and which guys in their lineup are having a very bad season. Example, MJ Melendez is very bad. MJ Melendez had a hot couple of weeks when he started with the Mets and is getting a lot of run because of it. MJ Melendez is very bad. Bo Bichette has had a fucking terrible start to the season, but it might just be that. It might just be that Bo Bichette has had a fucking terrible start to the season and is not actually very bad. Which would be good, because if Bo Bichette is actually very bad, then the Mets are on the hook for paying him a whole bunch of money over the next 2 seasons. If it turns out that he's just had a very bad start to the season, then he will presumably be Bo Bichette for the rest of the year or so, and might still opt out, and the Mets wouldn't be on the hook for him for 2 more years, which would be nice. Anyway, the question is Brett Baty very bad, or has Brett Baty been very bad? Is Mark Vientos very bad, or has Mark Vientos been very bad? Is Tyrone Taylor, is Carson Bench, is etc., etc., etc. Anyway, So last night, the Mets are playing the Nationals, and the game goes to extra innings, and neither team scores in the 10th, and both teams score a run in the 11th. So we go to the 12th, and it's tied at 7. No, it's tied at 6. Tied at 6, top of the 12th. The Mets get a couple guys on. They get a couple guys in. It's 8-6. It's 9-6. It's 10-6. The Mets are actually getting hits and getting one time the Mets had the bases loaded and Vidal Brujan coming up. Vidal Brujan, by the way, is very bad, but he's a faster runner than Mark Vientos, so they had sent him in to pinch run for Mark Vientos, and then the game kept going and eventually he needed to hit. This is a thing that happens. So Vidal Brujan is up with the bases loaded and 1 out. I think there was 1 out. There might have been nobody out. There was 1 out. Vidal Brujan is up with the bases loaded and 1 out. And Vidal Brujan fucking bunts. Not in like a suicide squeeze kind of way, where like the runner takes off from third sprinting for home plate and the only thing the batter has to do is somehow, some way, by hook or by crook, get the bat on the ball so that it's either in play or it's like a foul ball or whatever. It's not a suicide squeeze. He just fucking decides to bunt, which is a fucking terrible decision to make, by the way, because if it's not a very good bunt, then it just is bunted back to the pitcher, who lobs underhand to the catcher for the force out at home, and they probably get a double play out of it, and the inning's fucking over. And then it looks like a fucking terrible bunt. So he makes the fucking terrible decision to fucking bunt, and then it's a fucking terrible bunt because he pops it up, which means, oh no, this could be caught, this could be like intentionally dropped and set up a double play. All manner of horrible things can happen when you have a terrible result from the terrible decision you've made. However, by sheer dumb fucking luck, Vidal Brujan managed to pop up this bunt in the exact way that it would arc and fall just out of the outstretched glove of the pitcher charging in and diving to try to catch it. And Carson Benj, who was on third base, was able to read this, see the ball come off the bat, and know in an instant that ball is falling, nobody is catching it. If I don't take off like a motherfucker toward home plate, I am going to get forced out and we are going to be fucked. I need to take off like a motherfucker toward home plate. So Carson Benj takes off like a motherfucker toward home plate, winds up scoring the run. The Mets take the lead. Fast forward 4 runs. The Mets wind up scoring like 4 more runs. It's 12-7 at this point. It's 11-6 or 12-7. I don't remember the particulars other than to say the Mets are up by 5. Pause right there. The Mets are up by 5 in the top of the 12th inning. Let's try to figure out when and where this is. So, we got some folk. This looks to be a funeral of some sort. A funerary procession type deal. We got sad Russian or perhaps Russo-adjacent gentlemen, including Ian Riccaboni. I'm sorry, hold on. What is All Elite Wrestling commentator Ian Riccaboni doing? Hold on. This is... Y'all. What in the fuck is Ian Riccaboni doing here? This is not just like some passing resemblance here. This is fucking Ian Riccaboni. I'm sorry. What is Ian Riccaboni doing here? We're just going to bring this tab over to here. Look at this gentleman. Look at this man. Look at this man. Now look at that man. Now look at this man. Now look at this man. What is Ian Riccaboni doing in this Russian funeral procession? What is Ian Riccaboni doing in this fucking Russian funeral procession? What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, okay, so we got a guy who looks a lot like a guy. That's nice. Sam, can you clip that? Or can someone clip that? I can clip that. I don't know, man. Okay. So we got a flag with a cross on it. This could be Scandinavia of some sort, but no, this is like a white flag with a red thing. Is that Switzerland? Are we in Switzerland? We could be in Switzerland. We got Mercator, we got Nya Pressens, we got Askos, we got Hufvedsads. Hoofdstad. This could be Amsterdam. I suppose it could be Amsterdam. Doesn't make a ton. Could this be Poland? Is that the Polish flag? That might be the Polish flag. Yeah, this does kind of sort of look like it might be a little bit Russo-adjacent here. So, thank you, Sam. We're not gonna play that on stream, but we are gonna. I'm just gonna have that available for my own personal enjoyment later. There's a clip in the chat. Thank you, Sam. Yeah, man, I don't know. This is Warsaw, Poland, 19 dickety dose. Sure, absolutely. Warsaw, Poland, 1922. I don't know. That seems entirely feasible. 1922. 1951, also Finland. It was 1951 in Finland. Okay, fine. Next and last, we got fella in a hat. Okay. Fella in a hat seems to be being lifted and celebrated here by Todos Hacemos Democracia. Okay. Oh, no, that's your slogan of TSE. For the happy democracy. Okay. Anybody here want to have a flag of their alleged democracy? You are the Reading Alliance against the dictionaries. Hold on. Why is your Reading Alliance against dictionaries? Also, so you have a Facebook and Twitter presence, do you? Okay. Well, that's good. That tells us this is like the 20 teens, probably. If someone's going to advertise their Facebook and Twitter presence. Yeah, okay. Not me having an end screen that advertises my TikTok presence, even though I'm not on TikTok anymore. I should probably pay Parloghost to update that for me. I was going to say I should probably update that, and then I remembered that this episode of GMMM started with a discussion of me and my lack of skill for labor, and it's going to continue with the lack of skill for labor. So, all right. So y'all have flags for your movement. Do you have flags for your country or whatnot? Hold on. Here's one. It contains blue. Great. Happy. Amazing. And also white. Is that El Salvador? Could this be El Salvador? I think the flag of El Salvador contains... Wait. Oh, clearly we're in Atlanta, Georgia, given the hat of their baseball team is present. Fuck. I don't know, man. All right. We are in... I have no idea. I'm going to draw a circle, which I'm reasonably sure encompasses where we are, but, you know, we're in probably not Mexico, so probably Central or South America. Okay. If I was a person who recognized TV stations, is that what TSE is? That doesn't make a ton of sense, but... All right, we are in Bogota, Colombia? Bolivia, Paraguay? Fuck it, we're in El Salvador. El Salvador's in, like, Central America, right? Like, oh no, this is all Mexico. It's Honduras. Yeah, we are in Santa Ana, El Salvador. No, we're in San Miguel. Is San Miguel bigger? Oh, San Salvador's got the thing. We are in San Salvador, El Salvador. In 15? Sure. We are... How the fuck did I do that? Now, granted, we're not in El Salvador, but we are right next door. I'll take it. We're in Honduras in 2017. Obviously, that's exactly what I said. 33-131 sure is a score. It's not a particularly good one. So the Mets have scored 5 runs in the 12th inning. They now have a 5-run lead. It is 12-7 or something. And the umpires, the Nationals, also had a hell of a game on Sunday. They played a long game. They used a bunch of dudes in their bullpen. They really don't have any more relievers available other than the dude on the mound who is cooked. He's gassed. He has nothing. And this dude is giving his best and he's trying his all, but his arm is slag at this point. So the Nationals come out and they're like, listen, all right, fine, fuck it. We want to pull this guy. We're down 5 runs. We want to put a position player on the mound to pitch. Which is a thing you can do in extra innings. The rule, which it turns out is easily available and anyone should know when it comes up. The rule is, in regular play between the first and 9th inning, if you are losing, you have to be losing by 8 runs or more in order to have a position player pitch. In extra innings, however, there is no restriction. You can have a position player pitch whenever, because after all, eventually you just run out of pitchers. Now, the Nationals did technically have pitchers available, but they didn't want to have guys who had already pitched yesterday come back and pitch the next day in a 5-run deficit. That wasn't a thing they wanted to do, so they just wanted to have a position player soak up the last 2 outs. The fucking umpires, who are so fucking stupid, they had a terrible game to begin with. The umpires put up their hands and go, hold on, wait. Y'all got to wait until it's an 8-run deficit. You can't just put in a position player to pitch. And the fucking Nationals manager has to be like, no, we can just do that now. It's extra innings, guys. We can do that whenever. And the umpires are like, you can't do that. You have to wait for the 8-run deficit. And the umpire's like, dude, fucking call New York. And the umpires, the on-field umpires, actually have to call Major League Baseball in New York and be like, oh, they could do that? Oh, it turns out they can do that. And then they finally allowed the Nationals to have a position player pitch. And this position player was not like the... You know how sometimes the Red Sox played a game like this a long time ago, but every once in a while, a team will legitimately run out of pitchers, and they'll have to bring a guy in, or a guy comes in to pitch, and he actually, like, tries. Like, he's not a good pitcher or anything, but he's going through the motions, and he has a windup, and he's throwing, like, 70-mile-an-hour fastballs or something. This is not that. This is the... I don't give a fuck about this. I am not going to try. I am just lobbing balls toward the plate kind of position player pitching. So this dude comes in and he just lobs balls toward the plate for a while, and the Mets fucking tee off on him. They score 5 more runs before getting out of the inning. It was absurd. It was fucking absurd, and I watched the whole damn thing in a sleep-deprived, exhausted state, sweating my ass off because it was very warm, despite the fan. By the way, if you've heard the fan, no you haven't, shut up. It's very, very hot. That is your minor Mets news of the day. Your minor stat pad of the day is this is going to be bad. We're going to try to plow through these because this has been a long show already. An Astros outfielder over the past 20-some years is, we're looking for hits, by the way, dudes with hits in seasons. Let's say pick a Lance Berkman season. I don't know. I don't want to say 2025 Jose Altuve because I think maybe he was bad, and that was like he was only an outfielder for 1 or 2 seasons. It could be Altuve. Jose Altuve is really good. There's like, you look up one day and you realize, is Jose Altuve going to the Hall of Fame? Jose Altuve might actually be going to the Hall of Fame. That feels weird, but no, Jose Altuve might be going to the Hall of Fame. Does that mean he had a bunch of hits in the one season he played in the outfield? Fuck it. Let's say Jose Altuve. 2025 Jose Altuve. There you go. 75th percentile. Not as good as Derek Bell, or I should have picked a Lance Berkman season, actually. An AL East third baseman since 1980. This is going to be pick a Wade Boggs year. The answer we're going to say is like 1989 Wade Boggs. Yeah, we're going to say 1989 Wade Boggs. 1989 Wade Boggs had 205 hits. Good job, Goog. The answer was pick a Wade Boggs season. Should have gone with 85. Oh well. A Mets first baseman since 1980. This is... John Olerud was a Met, wasn't he? When was John Olerud a Met? That's a better question. John Olerud was a Met in, 1986, wasn't he? He started his career with the Mets. John Olerud started his career in 1989. Good job, Goog. But John Olerud was a Met, right? So this could just be he played for the Blue Jays. Okay. Well, maybe he was there in 1998. 1998, John Olerud, 100th percentile, had it in the bag the whole time. Fuck off. Catcher in the American League West since 2020. Can I name a catcher in the American League West since 2020? Shea Langoliers had a really good rookie season, didn't he? Hold on. Yeah, Shea Langoliers. There you go. What about 2024 Shea Langoliers? 90th percentile, 108 hits. Not nearly as good as the tippity top of the charts, but I should have just said Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh has apparently had a fucking horrible season. That's unfortunate for him. A Guardians shortstop since 1980. This is going to be Francisco Lindor. We're going to pick a Francisco Lindor season. We're going to pick 2019 Francisco Lindor. 170 hits, 91st percentile. Good job, Goog. Oh, also Julio Franco used to be a shortstop. Okay, fine. I beat 64.4% of other scores, but apparently not Samurai Sam. Okay, fine, whatever. Folks, that is going to do it for us here today on Good Morning Mini Motorways. Now, I had said that there would be no UFO 50 later tonight on account of my need to go to Boston later today for work. As previously stated, I do not need to go to Boston later today for work. However, it is going to be 98 goddamned degrees, and I do not have air conditioning. If I do not have fucking air conditioning in my fucking apartment later this evening, we are not playing UFO goddamn 50 on this goddamn channel. I will be a puddle of fat and goo, which I am now, but even more so. So, watch this channel, pray for Goog if you are a praying type person, and we'll be back tomorrow morning for another edition of Good Morning Mini Motorways. Until then, this is the end screen. Thank you all so very much for being here. Have a good day, and goodbye.